All right, we've been talking about success. So the first video was on success in college. You might realize that I'm not a psychologist, but I kind of play junior psychologist. We have to with ourselves all the time. Here's a paper by a couple of law professors at Yale. It just came out here in 2014, and it's great. It's profound. We'll talk about it in a minute. Right now, it's about you, and it's about your success. So how do we program our brains? How do we learn things? A lot of folks drop out of high school or drop out of school, and they don't think they can do it. I've had plenty of students that have dropped out of high school and gone on and done it very well in college and got their college degrees, even PhDs. So dropping out of high school is no indicator whatsoever, and you have to believe in yourself. High school is a tricky time. Growing up is a tricky time. So that's not the issue at all. We need to learn how to program our brain. So I have a human brain, I'm guessing you do too, and our human brain can be programmed. Now this is a flash drive, and so you just insert it in your, no, that'd be nice, right? But there's a way, there's kind of a trick, and you either kind of pick up on it or don't. But you have to have the confidence that you can, and that it's not so easy. If you tell me a bunch of stuff, I can't remember. So here it is, real quick. The human brain, programming it, the keys, real fast, this is short. Programming it, you need concentration. You need to get intense. If there's something that seems confusing and trying to memorize, burn it in. Just like, imagine your brain smoking because you're burning it into your brain. Get intense and be focused. Now, this tends to happen naturally when we're really into something. If you like playing guitar or drums or doing something, you just focus because you like it, right? Kids can focus on baseball cards and information, and they'll know all that stuff and say, oh, I can't do math. That's how it works. But if you can create that intensity and the focus through concentration, that will literally imprint it on your brain. You'll make connections. The other thing is repetition. Repetition is key. So things that we do over and over, at first realize that they're unfamiliar, they're uncomfortable. So yes, that's true, and it's true for me. Even the simplest thing, I don't know, how do I use this copy machine? But when you go, okay, I don't know how to use this copy machine, I'll get used to it, let me just play around. Get the repetition in. Make note cards of key ideas, carry them with you when you're waiting for your friend or the bus or whatever it is, waiting in line. Review it 2 or 3 times a day or more, just flipping through, it's imprinting. Run your mind through those thoughts, practicing over and over again, of course. Some great musicians will take 3 years and practice 10 hours a day, and I don't know how they eat or get by, but then they come out like phenomenal musicians. This is a story I've heard many times. Talking will increase the repetition, but daily makes a difference. You can't make up a missed day. You say, oh, I'll do it all on Saturday. That's not the way the brain works, and that's the mistake that you make. Of course, we all miss a day, and we're not perfect in our approach to studying, but pushing towards daily, it makes a huge difference. You can't all just do it in a day. Cramming stuffs the brain, and it stuffs the short-term memory. When the short-term memory is stuffed, it starts feeling like it's going to burst, and then you can't keep anything straight. The brain has another part, I don't know where it is, I'm not a psychologist, but another part for long-term memory. Long-term memory is literally growing connections and effectively growing the brain, making more room, building rooms in your house, and becoming smarter through making connections. And this is how you do it. Some people are afraid of learning. No, that's too much information, because they feel that short-term memory kind of filling up in that sense of overload. And that's why you want smaller study sessions. You don't just sit there and go, oh, I'm going to study for 4 hours straight. Maybe it works for playing an instrument, maybe it's a different thing. But you need some breaks. You need to study maybe 45 minutes or some time, and then take a 15 or 10-minute break to clear your head, do a little stretching, a little yoga, whatever you need to do, a little screaming, throw your book. I did that once. So whatever it takes, and then get back to work. So that's it. You can do it. It's critical to know this. And if you believe in yourself and you apply this, you will be blown away how much you can learn and remember. And so the folks that have done this, they aren't smarter or better than you if you haven't done this, but they just have learned this. Now, you can shut me up now if you like, but I'm going to get a little political talking about this paper. And politics is just kind of how we run our daily life and making choices. So this paper validates what has been my experience. You know, we talk about racial differences, and I really don't like that term, race. I think it's, you know, for me, again, I'm not an anthropologist either, but I just want to say, as far as I'm concerned, you are a part of the human race. And I had a student recently, you know, a friend, James L. Richard II. James says, you know, he's not African American, he's not black, he's human. And he was told that by the chief of an Indian tribe. And he said, what do you prefer? You know, Native American, Indian? I prefer to be called human. So we're in a human race. There are different ethnicities, different cultural backgrounds, etc. But we have a human brain, and it works like this. And everyone, no matter what ethnic group or whatever, is capable of this. However, there's some programming that happens that can make a difference. And so people, when they don't believe themselves, they get frustrated, they have low self-esteem, they get into trouble, they haven't developed skills, and they end up in prison, etc. So what's the solution? I think the solution is well indicated by this paper. What does it take to be successful? You need an attitude. And it's an interesting combination of three different things. But the interesting attitude, I'll make it quick, is that, one, you have to have a sense of you deserve this and you can do this. You have to have this, like, I can do this. Sort of, they call it a superiority complex of some sort, but not like better than, but like you deserve it. That's how I think of it. But you also have to have a self-doubt, like, I'm not really good enough, I better get better. You know, it keeps pushing you forward to get better instead of like, I'm good enough, I don't have to do any work. That's not going to be successful. It's like, I can be this, but I'm not really, I need to work on it. I really need to work on it, right? So that kind of attitude is going to really drive you, and then it'll give you this sort of dogged persistence where you keep going. And you're going to fall down and you get frustrated, but somehow you get up the next day and go, I'm going to do this. I am going to solve the puzzle of my life with my human brain through concentration, repetition. And the last little thing is, how do we solve this? I think that there have been great things that have been done in the 50s and 60s, tremendous things, tremendous advances, and that was done. So then where did we go? Well, in the 70s and 80s, there were struggles wrapping our heads around it, but now we're in a different kind of time. Most of us know that the color of your skin doesn't affect your human brain ability. Most of us know that gender doesn't affect that. What does affect success? Well, these traits can be taught. That's the amazing thing. They can be taught. So they may be taught in the home. You may be kind of wired up a little bit early for this, but you can teach it. And if you can teach it, you teach it young. And if you teach it young, where do you teach it? In kindergarten through 6th grade. And so now the elementary school teachers aren't the, you know, old 50s, you know, housewife that didn't have anything better to do, but now an elementary school teacher should be elevated to a status of high prestige. I mean, my suggestion is double their pay, require at least like a 3.2 college average. They have to get a master's degree in education, something. Understand human development, understand how to choreograph a classroom and take the kid that's bouncing off the wall and use that trait to build them up and really celebrate and elevate is what I like to say. An elementary school teacher should be able to celebrate and elevate every single kid as much as they can in the time that they're with them. That takes skill. I don't have that skill. I mean, you put me in the 3rd grade class, I don't know, I know the math, but you know, what do you do? So I'm just saying, in terms of society, if we really took our elementary schools more seriously and made them a very positive experience rather than beating up kids emotionally, psychologically, I think we'd be better off. But as far as you're concerned, and I'm concerned, and developing ourselves, concentration and repetition and using our brain in an effective way will really aid our success. And that's all. Sorry to put you through that proselytizing. hopefully it'll make a difference. Ciao.